Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby. The Shie Hassaikai arc is about to shift into high gear, my friends. It's time to take a look at a number of episodes of My Hero Academia. Yes, I have been off the freaking grid lately. I have been incredibly busy, whether it's being an adult, hanging out with family, being with my girlfriend, trying to manage a YouTube channel, and of course, not so subtly playing Pokemon Sword and Shield and Luigi's Mansion 3 all at the same time. However, I just got back from a big holiday vacation. My Thanksgiving was great. I hope yours was as well. And it finally gave me an opportunity to sit back, relax, eat some leftovers, and check out some good superhero action. And this arc, I think, is going to end up being pretty freaking awesome. The last couple of episodes have given us some really major development. First and foremost, where I last ended was where Deku and Mirio had just suddenly ran into Eri and Overhaul. And it was a really tense end to an episode, and it was even more tense after that because Eri was desperately trying to run away from this guy because clearly bad things are being done to her. But Mirio and Deku know that they're not supposed to take any action during this moment, and they unfortunately have to allow Eri to go along with Overhaul and leave. And you can tell that this really messes them up quite a bit, but the bulk of that episode was mostly following Deku as he goes to confront All Might about the fact that he knows that at some point in the near future, he has the potential of being killed by a super-powered villain in a very violent and ridiculous way. That, and he also confronts him about the fact that Mirio very well could have been the one to initially inherit the power of All for One. Or One for All, whatever it's called. I always forget the difference between the two. They're so damn similar. The point is, this is a really powerful moment for Deku because he knows that there's a chance that his former master is going to die, and there's not really much he can do about it. It's already been proven many times in the past that Sir Night Eye's ability definitely sees everything as it happens, and no matter what, you can't fight against it. What happens simply happens. However, things have actually started to change subtly, little by little, and this is where, of course, All Might makes the declaration that he will carve his very own future for himself and that he will not be killed by some sort of villain. Whether that happens remains to be seen, but it was a powerful moment nonetheless. The next episode goes into a completely different direction where we get to see the other students working with their respective people during this work environment. You have Ochako and Asui who are working with this group of heroes. There's Nejire, who the member of the Big Three. We finally get to see her in action. And I'm not really sure what her quirk is outside of the fact that it looks like she can fire like massive concussive blasts that kind of look like giant spiral electrical attacks. I'm not sure what the deal is here, but it looks pretty cool. But I'm more interested in this other character who goes by the name of Ryukyu, who doesn't really get her quirk revealed into a few episodes later, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I love her overall dragon aesthetic design. She's just such a cool freaking looking character, and that opening action scene fighting against those giants was so well executed and well animated that I just loved it. It might be one of my favorite parts from this season thus far, but we're not quite there yet. The next scene is what really sold me because we finally go back to the character of Eijiro Kirishima, otherwise known as the Red Riot, who so far in the series has always been sort of like a side character. He's always been sort of Katsuki Bakugo's friend, and he hasn't really been able to do that much, but I've always been really intrigued by his abilities, and the fact that he's been chosen to actually work around with Tamaki and this other brand new character by the name of Fat Gum, who's basically the Blob from X-Men, except that he's a lot happier and way more fun and has a hilariously awesome design. But we get to follow them as they go around the city, going on patrol and taking down bad guys, and they even take down these robbers, and it's a great excuse to finally show off all of their abilities, with Fat Gum, like I said, being able to absorb people literally into his body, as well as being able to move surprisingly fast and having a lot of strength. Tamaki's abilities are also fully revealed, and they are freaking insane. He has this power which is known as Manifest, where basically whatever he eats, like if it's an animal product, he'll actually inherit that animal's ability. So if he eats octopus, he'll actually be able to grow octopus tentacles. He eats a clam, so he can transform his hand into like a clamshell that he can use to smack people. If he eats chicken, he can have chicken legs and wings. Basically, whatever sort of animal that he eats, he inherits their abilities and can sort of manifest them from all over his body. It's a unique ability, and for him to juggle all of these different animal skills all together at once is definitely freaking awesome. I love it and really cannot wait to see more of this. However, unfortunately, the villains have something special planned for all of the heroes. The Shie Hassaikai, which are led by Overhaul, have created these bullets, which actually have the ability to nullify and possibly destroy the superpowers and quirks of these heroes. So basically what happens is Tamaki ends up getting shot and he cannot use his powers anymore. He can't manifest the animal abilities, and that's when Red Riot decides to go after this one villain who has using this drug which allows him to amplify his special abilities to allow all of these blades to come out from on his body. And he's attacking the citizens, destroying the buildings all around him, and Kirishima decides the only way he's going to beat him is if he uses his brand new trump card ability, which is this like brand new advanced form of his hardening skills, which just looks so fucking badass. There's no getting around it. This is one of the coolest looking scenes from the entire series. He looks so freaking destructive. He looks kind of like a rock version of Venom from Spider-Man. It just looks so damn gnarly, and the first time he transforms into it, it is just so beyond satisfying. And his body actually gets like so hard that he's able to walk through all of this guy's projectile like bladed weapons, get right up to him and finish him with one big punch. It is just awesome and probably my favorite moment from this season thus far. It was a great like build up to showing how these characters have grown and how their abilities have gotten better, but also letting us know that things are about to get serious, because now that we know that there's this drug out there that has the ability to destroy quirks, the tension has officially risen, and that's when they have this sort of like collection of all of these heroes coming together, which includes the big three and all of the students working under them. They're all led by Sir Night-Eye, and we get to see this like brand new group of heroes, as well as a few familiar faces like Eraserhead and Gran Torino, and they're all going to go after the Shie Hassaikai by investigating all of their individual hideouts, and then eventually finding their true headquarters, which they're going to storm with the police. Now, the episode, which is all just a build-up to it, I thought was really solid. One, because it just really amplified the tension of everything that's going to be happening here, especially because it's all involved with this girl, Eri, whose body is probably quite literally being transformed into bullets. That alone is a disturbing thought, and just the imagery that you can imagine in your head is just terrifying. It explains why she has bandages all over her body. She is quite literally being transformed into weapons to take down superheroes. And I wonder if it's like a weird combination of whatever sort of power she has and maybe what Overhaul has, which is his ability to sort of disassemble and reassemble cells at his will. It's different than, say, Tomura Shigaraki's, where he can just touch people and they immediately disintegrate into nothing. He can basically just destroy people by taking them down at a cellular level and just completely disassembling them. But if he wants, he has the ability to actually force them to come back together, which is a very disturbing prospect. The biggest emotional moment during this meeting, however, definitely comes from Mirio and Deku, who are still completely beating themselves up over the fact that they had an opportunity to save this girl, and they simply just couldn't do it. And it was all because they had to follow their orders, they couldn't start anything crazy, and of course there's the potential danger of Overhaul himself. They make the declaration, of course, that they are eventually going to save her, and they go through this big lull moment where their personalities are at their probably one of the lowest of the series. Like, a character like Mirio, seeing him sad, it just sucks so much because he's such a happy and peppy character, and to see him at this brand new low honestly was kind of heartbreaking. But I think the moment that did it for me most was when Deku actually returned from working with his work study and went back to class with all of his fellow students, and he's having lunch with all of his friends, and he suddenly just starts breaking down. And there's nothing he can say to his friends about it because he's been so sworn to secrecy, and of course this is all a part of their policy of not being able to talk about their work studies. And all of his friends can tell that really he's going through some incredibly serious stuff, but there's nothing they can do about it outside of comfort him, being a friend, and offering some of their food. It's a really powerful moment for the series, and it shows that Deku is a character who could just be like a dumb, silent protagonist that we see in just about every other anime series. I'm the best, I'm gonna be number one. But he's a character who truly does have a lot of heart, and he takes everything very personally. And again, it's this empathy and this sympathy which ends up turning him, I think, into one of the best anime leads that I have ever seen. Seeing him at his strongest and then seeing him at his weakest, it really humanizes the character in the best way possible, and I would say it's probably the most powerful scene from that episode. But eventually they buck themselves up, they get prepared for the next big operation, which is going to involve going to their headquarters. In the next episode, they waste no time. They get through to the investigation. Sir Knight AI is able to use his abilities to figure out exactly where these people are located, and the cops and all these heroes arrive, and they immediately storm this place, which before they can even knock on the door, the frickin' Hassaikai decide to attack with that one big dude just exploding out of the building and fighting against Ryukyu, who has the ability to transform into like a half-human, half-dragon. This looks awesome. And basically, this entire episode is sort of building up all of the crazy fights that we're probably about to witness. And I can't believe they're already getting to it, like, right now. Like, if this were any other anime series, like One Piece or Naruto or Boruto, it would take forever to get to a part like this. But I think one of my favorite things about My Hero Academia is how it never wastes any time. It gets right to the action every single time. Of course, there's a little bit of development, and yeah, people have been waiting weeks to see this material, and I just power watched all of the episodes at once, but it still wasn't that long of a wait. We're already getting like to the meat of this arc right here, and of course Overhaul does have a special plan. He has his very own group of super powered like villain warriors, which are known, I believe he called them the 8 Bullets. They're basically like these super powered 8 warriors which are going to work directly under him. Think of them as like the Ginyu Force, if you will, and it looks like they're going to be paired up with a lot of the other characters fighting against them. We're going to see the big 3, we're going to see Ochako, we're going to see Asui, we're going to see Kirishima, and most importantly we're going to see Deku, and all of these characters are going to come together in this massive battle in this underground Yakuza headquarters, and I cannot wait to see it, especially the reveal of all of the powers of these 8 Bullets as well as all the other members of Overhaul's team. There's just a lot of really exciting things which are getting ready to happen in My Hero Academia, and I cannot wait to see what is going to be next for the series. What's the rundown on all these episodes? I literally just talked about 4 episodes, and I know I didn't have enough time to really delve into each of them, but these are really big developments here, introducing a ton of new characters and building up the absolute danger of an organization which has the potential to overshadow the League of Villains, but also has a secret weapon in being able to basically take away or destroy people's quirk with a weapon. It's something that I've seen before in other stories where they have something that can nullify the special abilities, and it's not too dissimilar from, say, Aizawa's ability, although they do go into detail of how they actually are different in these episodes, which again makes it all the more intriguing, especially from the aspect of them being created from Aries' body. There's just so much at stake here that's really, really great to see, and I like that instead of like jamming all of the students into one major arc, they're focusing and picking and pulling on a couple of them at the same time to try and develop, and arguably these are some of the most popular characters from the series, and I wonder if the continuation of My Hero Academia is going to go with this trend where they're going to pull a few characters from the class and let them do something interesting, of course with Deku probably almost always being involved, or maybe they'll have the the bold move of like pushing him away for a little bit and focusing on the other characters. The point is, I really love that they're doing this because, before I thought of Kirishima as kind of just a somewhat interesting character. The couple of development episodes that he got here really made me care about him all the bit more. I wish that Ochako and Asui got to do a little bit more within these episodes. Maybe this is going to be their time to shine as well. I mean, I'd say they're arguably the 2 most popular female characters from the series, unless you count Midnight, if you know what I'm talking about. The point is, I just can't wait to see what's actually going to be next for the series. And again, I think one of my favorite things about this is that they waste very little time. They get right to it. Every episode feels important, even if it's just a bunch of characters hanging out in a boardroom having a meeting for a whole episode. Everything carries weight, and they don't waste any time in getting to the good stuff. The name of the most recent episode was Go. And go it freaking did. I loved all of these episodes. I would honestly say I'd probably give most of them, like the first 3, like a 4 out of 5. I thought they were really good, but of course you could always hope for a little bit more. It was the most recent episode, Go, which really got me, which I'm going to give an episode, I'm going to give that one a 5. I loved everything about it. There's so many great moments that I wish I could talk about. I'm going to try to get back to an episode-by-episode basis with my next review because, I can't keep wasting time on these reviews. And I don't have so much time to talk about these episodes, so I really want to make sure I can delve into every aspect. So I'm going to try to be there for the next one, especially with things really picking up in terms of the action. So yeah, there it is. There it is, guys. That's my review of all these episodes. I really hope you liked them. I'd love to get your thoughts on them in the comment section below, on any of the episodes, any of the new characters, what you hope to see from the big Yakuza invasion arc, and what you hope to see from all these new characters, villains, and heroes. Let's just have a big discussion about it in the comment section below. Please make sure if you liked this video to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. I'm also going to be getting back to my Boruto anime reviews. I just have a lot more to actually watch before I actually get there, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, that's it. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby. The Shie Hassaikai.